have signed up to speak to item 16. Dave Moore. Yes, sir.
Thank you for the opportunity. I brought exhibits with me. A picture's worth 1,000 words, and I got about 3,000 words worth right here. The first one I wanted to show you is this is from the Republican Party platform. And anybody that wants to can go to the website and read it. And it has specific items on there. And I don't particularly care if it's a Republican stand or a Democratic stand or whoever, but these are good words. It says that they support a moratorium on more turnpikes until existing turnpikes are paid off and made into free roads. The party platform also says that we oppose the use of eminent domain to build toll roads. And I think those are good words. I think they should be part of any party platform from any party. Number two, just kind of a reminder. This is a letter from our Attorney General, Gendra Drummond, pointing out that the OTA is currently under an investigative audit and an audit by Cindy Bird, the state auditor. So there are two investigations looking at OTA right now. So you might want to examine the situation more closely before you go entering into a contract with them, because there's some shady stuff going on that you might want to be aware of. And then this is just one that says the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority is bad for business. But it's not just the business, I don't think, that is the main problem. You also should consider 600 homes being taken from the families that live in them. 600 homes being destroyed, and people kicked off their private property and having their private property seized to build a turnpike that won't do what the OTA says it will do. And and you have to also consider what it's going to do to the environment. I mean, I live in Norman, and I'm sure thankful for the opportunity to come up here and speak, because a large part of what the OTA wants to do with Access Oklahoma affects Norman greatly. And I suggest that that's just too high of a price for anybody to pay. And Oklahoma County is going to have people thrown out of their homes also. So consider that and think about it, and I thank you for the opportunity.
Randy Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I think it's a mistake for you all to pass this resolution supporting the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. And I'll tell you why. There's a lot going on, as Dave mentioned. This has been shrouded in controversy since it was announced back in February of 22. I've been personally involved. It does affect me personally, so I've done an awful lot of investigation. But one of the things that I think is important for you all to realize is that indeed the Attorney General has called for an investigation of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority based on a number of things that we as an all-volunteer group have discovered. It's enough that he has called for the investigative audit of the Turnpike Authority that is currently under process right now with Cindy Bird, the state auditor. We hope for those results anytime soon, but they have not been revealed as of yet. I think it would be a mistake to sign on with this group until that has been finalized and everybody is aware of what those investigations will unfold. Also, another issue, again, the controversy, the Legislative Office of Financial Transparency, LOFT, is also involved in an investigation of Oklahoma Turnpike Authority, and I'm under the impression that those results will be revealed later this year, November, December. It is on their agenda right now, and they are doing research to find out the financial misgivings of the Turnpike Authority going on. So again, I think it would be a mistake for you all to sign on to support the Turnpike Authority at this time. Another issue I think you all are well aware of when the Kickapoo Turnpike went through in eastern Oklahoma County. I recall there was quite a bit of controversy in dealing with the Turnpike Authority on some of the roads that were damaged, and that was I'm under the impression, again, just as a casual observation, but I believe that those things were not resolved in a favorable way towards the county, and I don't know that it would be wise for you all to come out publicly to support them when they were not particularly forthcoming with making those necessary repairs of the roads that they damaged at the time. So I think that would probably be a bad idea as well. There's numerous things that are going on with the Turnpike Authority that again, like Dave mentioned, there are environmental issues. It's going to affect Oklahoma County, where I believe that's Oklahoma County where they're proposing to cross the Canadian River. There's a number of environmental issues that are going on with that, and the Army Corps of Engineers, I think, is going to become involved with that at some point. I'm sure you all are aware of the shall we say, maybe not positive interaction with a certain legislator in purchasing their property. It gave the appearance that they were given a especially favorable treatment. Again, there's lots of reasons I think that resolution would be unwise for you all to pass at this time. Thank you. Yes.
Just one quick question. Where do you live at as well?
I live in Normansville, but the whole access program does affect Oklahoma County, and as I understand it, your resolution would call for the support of the Turnpike Authority. So that's the reason I'm opposed.
Okay.
And opposed?
Hello, thank you for allowing me to come speak. As a person who grew up in Oklahoma County and as a person and a daughter of a father who used to be an Oklahoma City council member, I would like to say that I find that this resolution almost offensive. To sit there and say that economic development will follow a turnpike is stretching it. We look at the Kickapoo and I see no economic development along that. I see an empty road with a horse walking down it. I see people, neighbors with homes, houses that are going to be destroyed, taken away, no place to go, no land in Oklahoma County where they want to live, comparable to where they are living now. The airport land, the airport authority has said basically, do not put a turnpike here, you're going to have to move it away. We're facing the same thing, where OTA is facing the same thing in Cleveland County with the lake and the watershed and Lake Thunderbird. This is a resolution that I would not want to be associated with. The Turnpike OTA is a questionable authority that spends money without regard to how much debt they are putting the state in. They said it's all self-sustaining money that will come in because they charge toll roads, but yet they won't look at putting it in a different location because it costs them 12 more miles to pave. So what? They raise their tolls according to what distance they have. They can pay for it. It'll go where they want. But the effects on the neighborhoods, the people, the citizens of Oklahoma County is my greatest concern. You're facing it with the jail issue, where to put it, not in my backyard. I'm sorry, that happens. It's a controversial issue also. I find this turnpike also controversial. You're going to affect people, their homes, their livelihood, the way they live. And I have sympathy for those people. I would not want to be moving and looking for a place in this economy with the taxes and the situation that it is, and with the inability to get to work because my free road is no longer there because I now have to take a turnpike. That happened to people up in the Berry Hill Addition in Tulsa. Association with OTA, because of the numerous reasons that Mr. Carter said, the audit, the investigation by the Senate, is questionable, and I would seriously consider if I would want to be associated with a government instrumentality that is leading you down a path of, I want to say questionable, but of a ethics, moral type conflict that you all could be going into. Thank you for allowing me to come speak. You all have a good day.
Tassie, can you help me with your last name?
Hirschfeld.
I'm sorry. Thank you.
I'm Tessie Hirschfeld. I'm a professor in the Department of Anthropology at the University of Oklahoma, and I am also a resident of East Norman, would be severely impacted by the construction of the South Extension. I've been involved with this group since day one, Partly because my personal life and professional interests have converged here. I study corruption, and I feel like that's something that we need to talk about with respect to this resolution and the historic actions of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority. Now, I know the Turnpike Authority likes to present itself as bringing economic development, and I'm guessing that's what compelled you to propose and put forward this resolution. But I would encourage you to rethink that assumption. They are not economic development specialists. They have no expertise. They presented no research or findings on that topic. And when you look at their past performance, what you see actually is the opposite. In my first op-ed for the Daily Oklahoman back in 2022, I described OTA, and I quote, using state power to take private property for private gain. And I want you to sort of think about that for a minute, because that is the model of economic, what they're calling economic development is really just the aggregation of wealth into the hands of a very small number of individuals. And it represents a big transfer of wealth from ordinary citizens, both in terms of losing their homes, the dislocation of moving, but also the predatory toll increases that are going to result from this now probably more like $8 billion project that no one wants. And when I say no one, the city of Norman unanimously rejected this through a city resolution. And I will tell you, as a corruption researcher, one of the best indicators of fraud and corruption is building things that no one wants. And so when you really sort of break down the mathematics of this, it is not environmentally feasible, it's unwanted by the communities, and it will be paid for by drivers who have zero say in whether they are subjected to toll increases for unnecessary projects that always have massive cost overruns. Now, in the case of OTA's previous projects, they began acquiring property before any traffic studies were done or completed. That should be a red flag that maybe this is more about property acquisition than about serving the public. And so with that in mind, I want to encourage you to rethink your support of this resolution, or at least table it until a little more research can be done to show that OTA is in fact not engaged in massive fraud and corruption. So we are all anticipating the results of the investigative audit. And sort of as a close, I feel like we need to take a moment and think about the legacy of former head of the Senate Transportation Committee, Gene Stipe. Because Gene Stipe, if you know his biography, grew up in very impoverished circumstances, but by the end of his political career, his net worth was estimated at over $26 million. He was subject to an FBI investigation that extended from 1968 until he was finally convicted in around 2004. And so that would be an example of someone using state power to engage in what were supposedly public projects for his own personal economic development, which was substantial, but I do not believe anybody can make an argument that that serves the public in any sense. So just again want to reiterate what my fellow presenters have said and encourage you to wait for the results of that audit to see exactly who you're dealing with in supporting this resolution. Thank you.
Kelly Wilson.
Kelly Wilson, I also live in Norman. Thank you for letting us speak today. I just wanted to bring a few things to your attention as you consider this resolution supporting the Turnpike Authority. And I just wanted to encourage you to think about how the Turnpike Authority historically has not been transparent with the people, and they have not been transparent with the cities and counties and municipalities and our other elected officials. This was actually evidenced by one of the Public Improvements and Infrastructure Committee meetings held on, for Oklahoma County, held on March 30th of 2020. I'll just remind you of some of the things, because there were a few comments made by some of those members that expressed concerns over this. And so I just wanted to read a few of those comments to you guys. So Mr. Blau said, so their main objection to what we've already passed and sent over is they didn't like the 3-year time frame that the county was wanting to do the work that was identified in that agreement. And now they're sending us back something that doubles the amount of miles we were to do in that same 3-year time period. He goes on to say, I think we've all voiced our frustration with tearing up our roads and then telling us which ones we're going to fix and how long we have to fix them, while those that have torn up the roads, whether it's OTA or the subcontractors, basically don't pay anything for the damage they've done. And then a little while later he says, again, they're making us aware of what they've done for us that they are legally required to do. So they're trying to get the county to pay for some repairs to roads that they actually damaged. And then and so then another commissioner, I think it was Mr. Davidson, said, I think it's time that other people are made well aware of this as well. And then lastly, I just wanted to read State Statute Title 69, 1706 says, if the authority shall find it necessary to change the location of any portion of any state or county highway or street of a municipality, it shall cause the same to be reconstructed in substantially the same type and in as good a condition as the original highway, provided, however, that all changes and adjustments of the lines and grades of state highways shall be subject to the approval of the Transportation Commission. This is the important part. The cost of such reconstruction and any damage incurred in changing the location of any such highway or street shall be ascertained and paid by the authority as part of the cost of such turnpike project. So counties and cities are not required to pay for any of the turnpike projects, and I just find it appalling that they continue to put their projects on us, the people, and it's not fair. So anyway, I just wanted to encourage you all to know that you don't have to participate in anything they ask you to.
That's all I had signed up. Commissioner Davidson.
Let me get back to it. I was actually reading the, right there. So I have intended to strike this because it had come to my attention with talking with the individuals at PACOM that they would like to collaborate on asking the Turnpike Commission for Texas turnarounds because they have such a huge traffic issue. I don't know if you've been up there at 5 o'clock, but Memorial Road in my district is backed up for a couple of miles because they got a couple thousand people that work there at PACOM, and we're looking to increase access and egress from that area. One of the things that the access program does is it widens Turner, it adds an extra lane, doesn't take any additional land, nothing that we're doing actually takes any land or anything like that. It's stuff that they already own. It's putting, I believe it's County Line, they're putting the exit there. They're doing access for eastern Oklahoma County into the town of Arcadia, which routinely gets passed by. Unless you're on Route 66, there's no access. And that's one of the 2 to 3 exits that they've been discussing. So that's all we're really doing with this, but I actually intended to strike it because it says nothing about easy access and PACOM and doing something about that massive issue that's arisen out there. So with that, I'll just tell you that I make a motion to strike this and bring it back at a later date with correct language. And then if you guys have questions or want to talk about it, about whether we should be supporting OTA, do they need us, do they want us? It's just something that they came out and reached out to me about because it affects my district. It's the entire stretch of the Turnpike, I think, is completely at this point for your district.
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Item 17,